Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Shaq here, and welcome back to X4. It's been a while, but today we're looking at a new version. I got a message over on Steam a couple of days ago, actually, saying, hey, Shaq, would you like to try the new version of X4, the Star Wars mod? Yeah, I would love to. So Mikhail sent me the 0.4 version of the mod so far. Currently, if you want to play this mod, 0.3 is out. Hopefully 4 comes out soon. We're going to be looking at some of the new additions, stuff that was already in the mod. We had, and I did a video on this when he sent it to me for early access a while back. It was like an A-Wing was in there, the X-Wing was in there. I think it had the, let's see, I think the Twilight was in there, and it also had the Action 4. So we had a couple of fighters and one of the freighters, and now that list has gotten substantially larger. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump in and check it out. Now, we are sitting in silence right now with no music, unless I added it in post. Because, well, you know, UMG and YouTube hate fun, and they're going to claim it. They're going to pop us, so we're not going to do that. So let's go to new game. Let's give this thing a poke and see what we've got. Now, a lot...
of fighting the shuttles?
Oh, jeez. No. There is new tutorials on here since when I played on the release day. I do recommend them. They're actually pretty good. If you don't know what's going on with X4, it's a lot easier now to get into it, particularly with these tutorials. So... let's jump in to, what ship do we want to take out? Let's do something new. I know exactly what we're going to take out. Probably the most impressive thing that's in this. We're going to go straight to the most badass thing, which is the YT-1300 that he's put in with full interior, which was, I want to say that was former Imperial Captain. Yeah, weirdly, it says Gazanti there, but I think that's lies. Let's go ahead and load that up. He has extended the list. So far, there's the A-Wing, the E-Wing, the B-Wing, the Z-95, the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, the G9 Rigger, the Gallifrey Transport, you know, the hero ship of the Rebellion, the GR-75. Let's go ahead and skip the intro. A CR-90 Corvette, Action Forward Transport, which is the ship that weirdly has like a handle on it, one of the freighters. You've got the Imperial Gazanti, which I think has docking ports for TIE Fighters on the bottom of it. It's got the Nebulon B frigate. Now we've actually got some fairly large ships. Nebulon B, the MC-80 Liberty type, so the Moncal ships. And for you Imperial players out there, the Imperial Star Destroyer. Yes. The YT-1300M and Slave 1, or aka the Fire Spray. It's in, but it says not functional in the notes, and I haven't tried it to see what the problem is there. I wonder if there's like an engine issue or a cockpit issue, but there it is. There it stands. Oh, man. And he's done the full interior. I shit you not. So let's walk around a little bit. Now, it's taken him a while to figure out his workflow and how he's going to bring these in. Because remember, this is the guy who started the Star Wars X3 mod, right? And added, I don't know, it must be hundreds of ships. And then that has been taken over by the Star Wars LU team now. So that's like a whole new mod. That's the one we're playing over on Twitch right now for the old game. So he's bringing those models into this, but instead of just bringing ships into it, now he's got to do full interiors, or at least convert them to work in X4, because as you can see, I can walk around, you know, in first person. We're inside a space station right now, one of the starting stations. But, like, he's got to put in landing gear now that actually animate and unfold. Whoa! That's right, if you hit shift, I forgot about that. If you hit shift, you teleport into your ship. So, let me get out of here. I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen and X3. So I'm having a little trouble remembering all of my controls. But there's like the docking thing, so you refuel and all that. All the ships have that, even the fighters. That actually looks pretty good on the TIE Fighter, weirdly enough, because it's that ball shape. But anyways, as we walk around the YT-1300, the Millennium Falcon-esque freighter, ramp does work. You can run up inside it, as you saw before. Gun turrets in here, though I don't think you can interact. Yeah, you can't interact with them, because gun turrets in this, you just tell them what to do, and then they do it, so, you know, only protect the ship or fire at all enemies, things like that, just like an X3. But he's got the interior set up with those weird like cloth or foam paneling that's inside. Let's look through. If we crouch down in here, we can go through one of the cargo bays. Oh man, this is so neat. Now I wish there was more interaction inside the ship. I know he does have one of the doors that open back here, one of the larger cargo bays in the back. My Star Wars Galaxy nostalgia, because I was a civilian pilot in SWG, and my YT, you know, I had it decked out as my mobile home, basically. I had all my stuff inside it, little crafting stations, and this is giving me severe nostalgia. Is this the, okay, transporter room, aka the escape pod section. Let's go ahead and run back here, and then yes. Yep, smuggling compartment. I want this to open. Yep. Little bed back there, which no one could ever fit in. And then the holographic table, which I cannot remember the name of the game. But anyways, let's get to the cockpit. So we just made a big circle around the ship. Ramp coming up here. I think this is the only fully fleshed out interior. Every other ship is using a variant of the cockpits that are already available in the game. He's kind of ported them over to it, which were, you know, none of the other ships, even in the base game, are really fully fleshed out, having you walk around all the multiple decks. But we can come in here. And yeah, there it is. He's still working on this. This is like his version 1 for the, I think, for the upcoming release. But now there is one issue that he's already pointed out to me. That is that when you sit down in this chair, you're way too far off to the left. And he's gonna recenter the view, so you're a little bit farther to the right. But here we are, all landed. Let's go ahead and let's do an upgrade first. A lot of the ships have custom weapons. So to get the quad laser cannons, I believe they are, that are on the normal Falcon, you gotta have to buy them. And once you buy them, you can see them installed there and there, and they are turreted. So these will operate on their own once you give them orders. And then you've got forward firing weapons as well. How much money do I have in the start? Okay, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I think we can afford to do a few upgrades here. Our shield upgrade is in there as well. All right, well, we got our turrets, yes.
Requesting permission to dock.
Add to shopping list, confirm order. And now we wait for a minute. But I think I can go into, yeah, I can go into third person, sweet, turn off the UI bit. So F2 to go into third person. Look at that though. I mean, one of my earlier complaints with X4 was the lack of ship variety. And mods like this, and I'm noticing, if you look over the workshop for this game, the number of mods and the quality of mods are starting to pick up, as is the case with most X games. You get the initial release of the X title, and it's not nearly as good as the past version or past sequel to the ongoing franchise. And then eventually they'll update it and update it. In this case, they put out a new expansion, which is the Split expansion, and it gets to the point where the community starts to move their way over, and the modding community starts to move their way over. And I think we're starting to get there. We're definitely starting to get there. Because to be fair, X3 versus X4, the combat mechanics, the actual like feeling of flight and combat is so much better in this version than X3. It's so clunky. Menus are also a bit better in this. Actually, they're substantially better in this. I'm just wondering how fleet command works, because that's what got me to stop playing this originally when it first came out, was commanding a fleet was a giant pain in the butt cheeks. We're just waiting for those quad cannons to be installed. So let's go ahead, Shift H, turn our UI back on. Looks like we're done. Let's unlock and go for a little flight around, shall we? And listen to the sound effects. They are, excuse me, they are spot on. We'll start bringing the engines up. Okay, that's a little too loud. I kind of cranked it. Whoa! Okay, first person. I'm gonna take direct control because it's a very busy port. Excuse me? We're just gonna squeeze through here. Remember, we're a lot wider on our port side than we are on our starboard. Okay, good. We've managed to make it out of Times Square of the universe, apparently. This is, where am I? Argon Prime, probably, so it's super busy. But we hit tab. Tab is using our shield energy to boost us. And that's the sound. It's like the broken hyperspace sound from Empire is the dropping out of like that boost. Wait for it and drop. Womp, 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 womp. I love that sound. Oh man, it's good. It's really good. It's not bad either. For a freighter, it doesn't feel that sluggish. And I think he says this is the M variant. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the Millennium Falcon variant, what M means. I kind of hope it's not, because the M variant should be something that's hidden out in the universe that we can find or have to board or whatnot to get, right? Like in X3, it's one of the rarer variants. And when we found it in the first campaign, it was a big deal. But all right, enough messing around, enough me yapping. It flies great. The weapon systems do work. If I go ahead and hit spacebar, that's the forward firing cannon. Whap, whap, whap. There you go. And then the quad cannons on the top of the bottom will just function as normal turrets in the game. So let's just go ahead and take it for a little bit of flight. We actually have a target there, just popped up. Criminal. Where'd you go?
Short range transporter.
He is 1.5 kilometers above us. So let's swing around here.
You had it now.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay, well, the station decided that guy had to go. Oh, that is cool. And then, you know, you can go into like cruise mode if you really want to and switch over here. Really give it some speed. Oh, man. And Star Destroyers are in. And that, because the one thing that X3 is missing, if you've ever played through the original, X3 is missing the ability to sub-target, taking out like enemy cannons or turrets in this case. There's Star Destroyers in this, and there are, and I'm going to pull them up right now. We're not going to buy them because I don't have a save that far, and I'm not going to install a cheat script. I think it'll be far more fun to earn that when we first get to fly it, but I will pull them up. So let's go into the map real quick. You can't sub-target turrets in let's go to the map, actually. Oops. There we go. Zoom out while we cruise around. We've got an equipment dock there. Oh, I have nothing explored. Okay. We need to go over to the other stations around here. Do a little exploring. Or maybe load up one of the other saves. We might do that to see how much money we start with on those. So people can get an idea of what they want to do when they start out. This is definitely playable as is. There are enough ships here to make a varied fleet. And for the Empire, it'd be mostly the Gazanti, the ISD, and TIE Fighter variants, or 2 TIE Fighter variants. But that's enough to get started until the next versions come out. I don't know how save compatible they are from one version to the next. I think they're okay, though. Let's go ahead. And go to new game. And we'll try out another one. Let's do... Lucrative Trader is going to be your freighter. Young Gun is going to give you the Z95. I'm going to load up something completely different, though. I'm going to load up and it's not one of them that's modded, but it does give us, it's the Scientist start. Accomplished Scientist, here it is. So we're going to load this one up. It'll show us more of the map, and then we'll be able to access the shipyard and the wharf for Argonne, which is where all these new ships are sold. There are a few notes. All the Star Wars weapons that are currently implemented, and not all ships have all upgrades available to them yet. But a lot of the Star Wars weapons have all had their ranges increased, just so you get more of those epic fights, especially between the capital ships. X4 has this deal with like keeping ships very close to each other when they're slamming weapons against each other. So you get more of that, you know, a bit of an epic exchange of fire at range. Not all ships, though, have all of the upgrades. And if they do have the upgrades available, they look really weird. Like the Gazanti taking on one of the base game turrets. The turret is huge, and it's bigger than the portion of the top of the hull of the Gazanti. So it looks very strange. It looks like we're just going to be waiting on more of the custom weapon systems as he implements them. Because yeah, that's kind of a weird bit, because you can actually see the models on all these. And if you try to swap out engines on some of these ships, particularly like the vanilla engines onto the new modded ships, you know those ships are modeled to take those engines. It's why they all look kind of similar in the base game. And you do that with, like, say, Slave 1, and you slap on engines from X4. It's going to look real weird, real fast, which we might even take a look at. So let's jump into the Nodan Vanguard. Take us 2 seconds, transport over. This is a start where you actually get the space station right away, and you get 200,000 credits. But we're just using it to gain access to the larger map. Expanded map. So you can sprint. Weirdly, it's double tapping W.
Vanguard.
They never changed that, and shift is still like teleport. It's weird. All right, let's just open up the map, and we will take a look at some of the stuff we can't yet afford. We're gonna go to Argonne Wharf and buy ships. Let's start off with the small ships. So if we're getting right into the fighters, they do have the B-Wing, and we'll take a flight on this later, so I'm not gonna sit on this for too long. The B-Wing, though, it doesn't rotate. So you will be flying it in this formation. It does unfold when it lands, which is quite cool, but the cockpit itself doesn't rotate. So you won't have that like vertical stack like you normally get from well, any other game that's normally got it that has it animated. The E-Wing, you know, it's good. It's looks like it's supposed to be from Battlestar Galactica, but it is in, and the model looks great. Don't let my distaste for the E-Wing turn you off to starting with this. I believe there is one start that has this. More importantly, a lot of these are from the last version. Let's go and look at the new one. Z95 is just one of my favorites. Ooh, the Z95 version, it's not the Clone Wars variant, it's the Civil War variant, which is the better version. So, yeah, looks cool. And it does have the shield upgrade. Only the shield upgrade. Notice it doesn't have any weapon upgrades or anything like that, because they are Tannenbachs, X5s. TIE Fighters, of course, for you Imperial players, you know. You've got your 2 variants there. I don't think the Bomber is an option. Yeah, Bomber's not in yet. Hopefully he gets the Y-Wing and the TIE Bomber in soon, because those are desperately needed. X-Wing is in there. I have not flown the X-Wing yet. Maybe we should switch over to that. Last time we did the Spotlight, we flew around a lot in the A-Wing, and that thing is bat out of hell fast, and it is so much fun. It is so much fun, and because the dogfighting is better in this, being turn and burn in something small like this is way more fun than it is in something like X3, especially because you can sub-target, so you can fly around those larger targets, blowing up all of their turrets, you know, dodging and diving, if you're fast enough. If you're fast enough. Let's get into the fun stuff, though. Let's look up at the size M. So the Action 4 transport showed this last time, has the engine and the turret upgrades, and weirdly, it can take the turret upgrades, and they fit kind of okay on this because it's basically a flat box, so it's got the mount points, right? Like that's not half bad, and you can actually upgrade these with whatever vanilla weapons you want to, if you really, really want an action, you know, an action transport. What do the engines look like, though? Because the engines are going to get real weird real fast. I bet they aren't. That's not terrible. I guess there's going to be some ships that just don't look half bad, and some that are just going to require custom ones. But let's get into the cool things, like CR-90 Corvette. Oh, and it's got the four turrets on the top. It's got the big turret on the bottom, which it does have its custom ball turrets. Sweet. What are these? They're labeled as pulse weapons, weirdly enough. Mark 1 pulse cannons. I wonder if that's just what they're balanced against or if they have the same effects, but it does have its own custom model, so they look good. It's got its engine in the back, so no upgrades there. You know, I'm okay with having a lot of stock stuff for the Star Wars stuff, as long as it looks relatively decent. I mean, I know he's got a lot of stuff to port over, but there you go. Blockade Runner. Does this give us the max speed on here? No, it doesn't. Not until you buy it. Dang, I wanted to see how fast it was. Anywho, GR-75 transports, of course, we've seen. There's your Hero of the Rebellion Starship. Gazanti transport for you Imperial players. I mean, not just Imperials, but I do believe these are actually docking ports for TIE fighters. I think they work that way. So, pretty neat, pretty neat. Now, getting into... Okay, then there's the YT, which we're currently flying around, and you can actually see the interior loads first. So I don't know if he's going to do interiors for every ship. I'd be shocked if he does, because it takes so long. I think maybe only some of the classics or some stuff that he can put together quickly is probably a good idea, just so to get more out faster. I think the variety of ships to fly around in is better than doing the interiors, because there's not a lot you do in the interiors, and that's kind of the problem with X4. Yeah, it's cool you can walk around in first person, but you don't really do much in first person. A little bit of station exploring, a little bit of trading. But for the most part, it's all handled by menus. Anyways, let's get to, this is just the wharf. Let's look at the actual, because I know this is what everybody actually wants to see. This is why I loaded up this save, is the big stuff. The XL. Let's go to the large ships first. Large ships. Nebulon B frigate. Oh, man. Turret there. What do we got in the front? What's this spot? I don't know what that spot is. I can't click it. Is it shield? This is shield or tracking Mark 1 or a turret system. So you've got two options there. You can put a turret, or you can put it's shields in the back. Just load it up back there. But there you go. Yeah, there's your shield slot right there in the back. This one's actually got its upgrades as well. Nice. Freaking cool. Nebulon B is in. I don't think there's anything really in this scale other than the Nebulon B. Let's see, Vanguard. Yeah, there's nothing else in this scale. But XL, we start getting into stuff like the MC-80 with a handful of heavy turrets in the front, turret in the middle. Looks like it's got turrets on the wings. Sort of, kinda. Turret on a wing? Oh, no. It's split between the two. You can go a little ham with it, but it looks good. It looks real good. And dropping down. It's such a good time for Star Wars mods right now. There it is. That's the one everybody really wanted to see. Now, I might install the cheat script and pop this thing in here so we can get a little combat in, because I really do want to see it. And I want to see how you dock something this size. I want to see how many fighters that it can actually carry. It says number of small ships dockable is 5. I think that's bull. That seems really low. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it may have to actually render the docking space, come to think about it. So maybe it only has 5. Huh. Definitely has tons of turrets, though, more than any other capital ship. And look where they're all rowed up, too. And a couple on the front, point defense up there. Looking good, though. Looking real good. All right, let's load up one of the other saves. Let's load up that B-Wing. Yeah, let's load up the B-Wing new game. Because I don't believe we've got a Z95 start. I don't think there is an X-Wing start. I think you have to buy it. Yeah, because you get the veteran pilot start. But the veteran pilot gives you the tanky old B-Wing. Which does, don't get me wrong, does look quite cool. It's just a little weird that it doesn't rotate to where you're, it's vertical instead of horizontal. But this mod is coming along. It's a little bit short. It's taken a little bit longer, I think, than anybody expected from it, because he does so fast work, especially when it came to X3. But it's just such a different beast working in this game. You got to do those interiors, and you got to set up animated landing gear. There's a lot more going on. But between this and then the Squad, that's the game, Total Conversion Star Wars mod, that is already been released, and now they're waiting on the SDK so they can put it back out, which I can't wait to play. I have not played that yet. Looks amazing. Watched a few YouTube videos on it. Between that, there's another mod coming out that's doing Starfighter combat that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but it's already playable, and I've seen some videos, and holy crap, that's coming out soon from another team. There is so much cool stuff. X3 is constantly getting updates. All right, so here you go. I haven't changed the name or the logo. I need to get a modded logo in here. Maybe put the Armco logo in here. But the B-Wing, all folded up and landed. There's that little docking circle down there that you see with all of these. This one actually sits on the ground. Can I walk through here without? Does it just clip through? There we go. Walk around to the back engines. The one thing X4 does really well is you actually walk into the cockpit. Is scale. Because you get to walk around these ships, you get to see how big they actually are. So, ba-doop. We'll walk inside. Do a little hop there. E-Wing does have a bug with the cockpit right now. So you may have a little bit of issues getting out of it. Just crouch, and you should be able to get out of it. All right. Let's just undock. I'm not worried about upgrades or repairs. There she is. And there's the unfold, right? It's so good. Just back it up. Looking good. And remember, you can buy these for your fleet. Because that's the kind of game the X series is. It's about building that empire, about building that fleet. Exerting your will on the galaxy and how you want to change things. All right, let's get enough looking at the sexiness of it. Let's go ahead and switch over to direct flight controls. Shift spacebar and bring on the engines. Now we're inside the station, so this isn't maximum speed. We're in kind of a forced docking speed. But as soon as we leave it, there we go. Not nearly as fun or maneuverable as the, let's go ahead and fly up here, as the A-Wing or maybe one of the TIE fighters, but you're so much tankier. Now, like, this is what I expect when I fly a B-Wing, you know? Flying it like this. Weapon setup. Does have multiple weapon mount points, I guess you could say, so it's got like a little bit of convergence there, but give it a boost. Sound effects are all custom. Sounds good. And then interior cockpits. Every one of the ships that he's put out so far have proper cockpits that you can look around in. All right, let's go in. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. All right, everybody. This was just a heads up just to let you know that this mod is still in progress. He's still working on it. And he's got a big update coming out. You can play the version prior to this. It does have a bunch of custom game starts for version 0.3. It doesn't have the YT, and it's missing a few, I believe, of the capital ships. But, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty legit. Now, this thing actually, speaking of which, the B-Wing, if you're looking to pick this startup, the reason you want to pick the B-Wing is it actually has a main missile slot, right? So you get like the X-Wing's got 2 light missiles. This has got proper, like, this is a bomber, and it functions as a bomber. If you want to bring in the heavy missiles. So, yeah. All right, everybody. I will catch you all in the next video. We might check this out for combat with some of the capital ships in the next one. Later, everyone. Woohoo! Oh, the heavier shields lets you boost for days because you've got all that extra energy. Oh, that's nice.